Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to highlight your citations in relation to your works cited page. Make sure you are using light colors and minimal highlighting. If a source is in your works cited but it is not in your paper, delete it from your works cited. All citations in your paper must be on the works cited page, and there is a 5 source minimum required. Okay, make sure you have 5 sources. Before we do the highlighting, I just want to point out a few things about the formatting. So we're going to start with the header. This up here would be the header. You see here that it says student name and page. On your own research papers, you want to include your last name only, okay, and include the page number. And you want to choose the one that's going to, you want to do the actual page number that's on Google, not Google Classroom, Google Docs. Okay, so choose the one that's on Google Docs. Don't just type in a number because then it won't auto-populate the different page numbers. You see how it says page 2 here? The next page is going to say page 3. Okay. Alright, and then after you're done with that, last name, page number, you're going to move over to the heading. Student name should be your first name, last name, which is how you would write it on any other normal thing. You're not doing last name, comma, first name. It's just regular old first name, last name. For the second line, you have your teachers. You're going to include both your English teacher and your econ teacher. Okay, some of you forgot to do this in your rough draft. Make sure you're doing this for your final draft. You want to include both of your teachers on your research papers. And that goes for your classes as well. Make sure you have both your English and your econ classes and include period numbers. Okay, it's especially important now that we're turning everything into one Dropbox. You want to have English, what period you have English, economics, and what period you have economics. And for the fourth and final line on your heading, you have your date. This is in day, month, year format. There is no commas used in this format. And you want to write the date that your paper is due. For you guys, this paper is due 29 March 2020. And don't forget, it's due this Sunday on the 29th at 11:59 p.m. on Turnitin and on Google Classroom. Okay, both locations. And both into the Clagana Poolson classrooms. Okay. All right. And so make sure you're including a title. It doesn't have to be a super creative title, but it should be unique. It shouldn't just be research paper, final draft. Here's my concept. Here's my topic. No, you do need to include your concept and your topic, but your title should be original. Okay. And centered. Don't forget that. And then we're going to make sure that your thesis is in bold so that we can see it clearly and easily. And that you are including subheadings for each of your different main ideas. So your main ideas are going to be separated into sections, sort of how they were in your outline. But the subheading here should be just a few words. I would recommend like 3 words tops. If it needs to be a little bit longer, that's okay, but just don't write full sentences for your subheadings. And bold them or italicize them or underline them or all 3 or some combination. Just make sure that the subheadings stand out from your paper in some way so that we can easily identify them. All right, and then your topic sentences should also be underlined so that we can easily identify those and we can make sure that they connect back to your thesis and your concept. Okay, for the highlighting, we're going to move down to the works cited page, all the way down. And you'll notice that this research paper ends on page 7, and we don't start the works cited page immediately after. We are starting the works cited page on page 8. So wherever your research paper ends, hit enter until you're on a completely new page, and then you're going to title it works cited page. Make sure that title is centered. You're going to make sure all of your sources are in alphabetical order. Okay, alphabetical order. in that they start, the first line is not indented, but the second and any further lines are indented. Okay, so the second and third line, or more if for some reason your citation is really long, those lines are going to be indented. Okay, so I'm going to switch apps really quick so I can show you something. You might notice here, I can't really point it out to you too well on an iPad, which is what I'm using currently. But, hopefully you can kind of follow along. But if you look up at the top where the ruler is, you'll see that the alignment for these citations is at 1.5 inches. So we need to fix this. We need to fix this format. Okay, so you're going to highlight all of your sources, highlight all of them. And at the very top here where the ruler is, you're going to see a rectangle and you're going to see a triangle. You want to click on the triangle. The triangle is going to move both of the margins at the same time so that you don't have to do things individually and then get everything all messed up. Okay, so click on the triangle. Sorry. Gotta get this to work somehow. Working on an iPad is not super easy when you're formatting. If you're on an iPad or an iPhone, you might know what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. Okay, hopefully I can edit this out so that it's not super tedious, but if I can't, okay. So click on the triangle. You see that it's at 1 inch right now. You want to move it over to the left until you're at 0.5 inches. Okay. And then just make sure your citations are still aligned correctly. If for some reason some of your lines moved all the way over, just play around with it a little bit. Maybe all you need to do is delete some extra spaces that were included there for whatever reason. But yeah, just make sure all of your citations are aligned correctly. And again, make sure they are in alphabetical order. You will lose points if they are not. Okay, let's go back to the paper. And I'm just going to fix this really quick. All right. Okay, so works cited page. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to color code your sources. So starting at the top, Jerkowski. This one I'm going to do in yellow. The second source in blue. And you can do whatever colors you want. Just make sure that the colors are light colors. You don't want to do anything too dark or anything too bright, anything that makes it difficult to see what's behind the highlighting, because that just makes it harder for us to grade, and you don't want to make your paper hard for us to grade. Okay, so once you've color coded, you want to make a note of what colors each of your sources are, so that when you go into your paper to actually start highlighting your citations, it's easy for you to just do that according to their colors, and that way you don't have to scroll back up and down. So you can either write it down, or you can have a second screen open if you have access to a second screen, however you want to do it. Okay, so let's scroll up to the top. Okay, starting at the beginning, the status quo. So you're going to read through your research paper and take this opportunity to proofread, since you've got to go through it anyway. You're going to read through your paper and identify all of the places where you used your evidence. For this research paper, the evidence comes pretty much right away. According to Eric Schlosser, a professional on the workings of the fast food industry, states that the advancement of techniques, etc., etc., etc. And then at the end of the sentence, we have a citation here. So I remembered that all of my Fast Food Nation, Eric Schlosser sources should be in red, so highlight it in red. So again, we have Eric Schlosser states and a page number at the end. Highlight that. Okay, and then down here, further into the paragraph, we have according to Warren Meyer, and we have this citation. So I'm going to take the opportunity to highlight this in blue, but if you notice, at the beginning of the sentence, we have according to Warren Meyer, and the citation also includes the author's last name and page number. You don't want to do that. So if you are including the author's name in the sentence, you don't need to include the author's name in the citation, and vice versa. So if it's in the citation, it doesn't need to be in the sentence. If it's in the sentence, it doesn't need to be in the citation. So you want to take it out from one of those two locations. I'm choosing to take it out of the citation because at this moment, it's just the easiest thing to do. Okay, and then the next sentence, in addition, according to John A. Durkowski, and then same thing, I'm gonna highlight this according to how I have it in my works cited. It's in yellow, but I have John A. Durkowski, and I also have it in the citation, so I'm gonna take that right on out. And so this is what you're going to do for your whole paper. You're going to go in and color code all of your citations with minimal highlighting. You see how I'm only highlighting the page numbers. Page numbers, and what's in the parentheses, so the citation. So for this one, because I didn't include Meyer in the sentence, I have the author's last name and page number in my citation, so I highlight both of those things. Okay, and since you are taking this opportunity to proofread, since you have to go through the entire paper anyway, you're going to watch out for some things. One of those things is floating punctuation. Okay, you want to make sure that your punctuation isn't standing alone. Punctuation never stands alone. You want to delete extra spaces. And occasionally, what I've noticed in your papers is that there is no space between the period and the beginning of the next sentence. Make sure you're including spaces between periods and the beginning of the next sentence. Okay? And yeah, that's what it's going to look like. You have all of your color-coded citations, super easy to find. I found another mistake here according to John A. Durkowski, but then again, it's here in my citation, so I'm going to take that out. Okay, fix my mistakes as I go. If you notice any spelling errors or if Docs is making any grammar suggestions, now is a good opportunity to fix those things. And that's it. And at the end, you should have 5 citations. Not 5 citations. You should have 5 sources in total. If you have less than that, you need to go to your 5th source or find a 5th source and include another quote, include another piece of evidence, set it up, analyze it, the whole thing. If you have less than 5, you will not receive full credit. You will lose credit for not having the full 5 sources. And if you need any help, make sure you let us know as soon as possible. Don't try and contact us at 10 o'clock on Sunday night because we're not going to be able to respond. So, the sooner you guys do this, the better. So then that way, if you have any questions, you can let us know right away and we can help you right away. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Good luck, guys. You can do it.